The NHRA J&A Service Pro Mod Series isn't child's play. Whether it's a twin turbocharged Terror, a supercharged Behemoth, or a nitrous oxide spewing mountain motor, Pro Modifieds are high horsepower handfuls of pure drag racing excitement that launch down the quarter mile with a vengeance and leave the pack behind. Within the NHRA is a class of car that defies convention. Door slammers with nitrous, turbos, blowers. These are the Mavericks. This is Pro Mod. Welcome everybody to Old Bridge Township Raceway Park in Englistown, New Jersey, under absolutely perfect conditions for the NHRA Toyota Super Nationals. So far this season, Bob Ram's nitrous oxide injected Corvette won the first title. He was followed by Don Walsh's twin turbocharged Camaro winning the second race. Our most recent winner was the Canadian driver Kenny Lang at the wheel of his supercharged Chevy Camaro. But it wasn't until Englistown that we had these conditions. Mike Janis, #1 qualifier with the quickest supercharged run in Pro Modified history at 5.77 seconds in qualifying.
It ended up getting on the tire a little bit faster and going faster, so it's all working out for us. Just want to thank all the guys on the crew and Jansen Motorsports, Lucas Oil, everybody that's helped us through all this.
Janis is currently ranked #6 in the 2015 World Championship points race, but bear in mind we've got 2 turbocharged cars in the top 2 spots, followed by 2 nitrous-injected racers 3rd and 4th, and then 2 supercharged cars 5th and 6th. We began round 1 of eliminations with Danny Rowe and the Agave Underground Tequila supercharged Camaro in the far lane, repaired after its crash at the last race in Atlanta.
We had to move one of the frame rails, was broke. We ended up putting a strut, the body was all damaged, the door, the tub. You know, it was a lot of work to get this thing together. We actually picked it up on Monday, put a motor on it on Tuesday, brought it here on Wednesday, and qualified with it on Friday. So, you know, it was a lot of work, but we got it all together, and the car looks good, and it's running great.
Rowe will be alongside Troy Coughlin Jr. in the resurging Jegs team. After failing to qualify at the most recent event, Coughlin made the show here, #9. A tremendous drag race here, door to door. And the win goes to Coughlin. Both drivers record identical 5.88 second elapsed times, but at the finish line, it was this close. Next up, another supercharged versus turbocharged matchup, but this one will include a Ford product. Kevin Fiskus and his twin turbocharged Mustang moves up alongside Eric Latino's Ontario-Canadian Chevy Camaro.
I think it shows there's real good parity. I mean, there's all kinds of bickering about our bump boxes and all kinds of stuff. I mean, they just need to get over it. I mean, the times are there. Let's just get out and race. I mean, everybody's been in the 70s now, so let's get it on.
The turbo car stages last. And we've got another great side-by-side drag race here. Give the win to the turbocharged Ford. A tremendous side-by-side battle. Absolutely perfect conditions leading to close racing like this.
Hey, front wheels in the air, and you get the win light.
I actually could not see the track at half track. It felt straight, and she came down, and I was like, whoo, I'm still in the center. Here we go.
That's our top-end correspondent, Mike English, with a very happy Kevin Fiskus. And heating up the tires is the return of a past pro-modified world champion.
Khaled Al-Balushi makes his return to Pro Mod with an ace up his sleeve. Frank Ace Manzo, his crew chief, the winningest sportsman driver ever with a tremendous amount of history here at Englistown Raceway Park.
My home track. Started racing here in 1970, 71. So I've been up and down this track a few times. We start off with a B-alter, a double B-alter, and then an alcohol funny car. This is not an alcohol funny car, this is a Pro Mod. I'm struggling, this is new to me, this type of blower. I got a lot to learn about one of these cars.
Well, the winningest driver in NHRA drag racing history knows he's got a tough draw here. He's against 2-time and defending world champion Ricky Smith.
Breaking it in, the car is the car. It's all the guy, it's the clown behind it making the calls is what makes it go, so, and that's me. So if a car don't do good, it ain't because of the car.
Ricky acting as his own crew chief, or clown as he calls it, against Khaled Al-Balushi and Ace Manzo. They leave the line together. Both cars violent, but only Ricky maintains the control of his to a win. A brilliant pass, I might add, nearly as quick as his qualifying effort.
It seems like every time you debut a new car, things just fall into place.
Well, I hope they turn around a little for us because we sure had a bad year, but, you know, it's hard to beat Jerry Bickle race cars. They're pretty bad cars, and IDG sticking behind me, you know, I mean, It's a long year right now, but ain't nobody seemed to want to take charge, so we might as well try to win something.
Bear in mind, this was the quickest field of all time in the NHRA J&A Series. It took a 594.4 just to make the field. Here's Troy Coughlin. His twin turbocharged Jegs Corvette will take on the outrageous 1969 Dodge Daytona of Pete Farmer. The Massachusetts driver who won a national event last year knows he's got his hands full with one of the fastest cars on the planet. Yet another great drag race, and what a battle! Side-by-side 582s, Coughlin runs the fastest speed in Pro Mod racing in the last 4 years.
This is our 4th race on the car and stuff, so we're getting a little bit better at it as too. So, you know, everything seems to be gelling together, and if we can keep the glue together, we should be in business.
He's in business, 582 at 255.68 miles per hour. Can it get any faster? Stay with us and find out. This exclusive coverage of the NHRA J&A Service Pro Modified Drag Racing Series is brought to you by ARP, the world leader in fastener technology. By Precision Turbo and Engine, the winning edge in boosted performance. And by Aeromotive, serious fuel systems for pro mods to hot rods and everything in between. Welcome back to the continuation of round number 1 of eliminations here at the NHRA Toyota Summer Nationals at Old Bridge Township Raceway Park in New Jersey. Backing up from the tire heating burnouts, it's Billy Glidden and his nitrous-injected Ford taking on a driver who recently had some physical problems, Steve Matusik, the driver of one of Mike Ivy's 2 Agave Underground Tequila Camaros.
I fought with this in the past. When I ruptured my Achilles and I came back, I had to do things differently. So, you know, it's not that much of a challenge. I mean, it's only a clutch pedal. It's not that big of a deal. I've been there before.
But reaction time comes from the release of that clutch pedal. So Steve Matusik always has that injury in the back of his head. Billy Glidden's nitrous Ford Mustang is out first. Matusik moves up alongside, but can't close the deal. Glidden wins with a brilliant reaction time and a 0.02 of a second ET advantage. His wife Shannon's happy.
588, 245.
That's our best. It's our best speed. I don't know about the 88. I don't know what it was with, but that's awesome. We're right there in the hunt.
Backing up from the tire heating burnout is Michigan's Bob Ram, who is debuting a mountain motor and a half at this race.
We're the first to run quarter mile with it. There's some 948 cubic inch motors that they run in the 8 mile series, but we're the first one running quarter mile with their new 908 combination. So when we got another one coming later this month, so you know you can have a spare bullet in the trailer.
You heard it right, 908 cubic inches of V8 Chevrolet from the Rear & Morrison engine shop in Arlington, Texas. And the Corvette is outrunning Jim Bell's twin-turbo Camaro, although it made a heck of a move there at the finish line as Ram slowed drastically just before the stripe. Watch again, Ram has this huge advantage, but now we see smoke and then fire. He is destroying that new Rear & Morrison engine. There can't be much left. It burned across the finish line and still managed to win the race.
That thing was kind of expensive, but we got a lot of time to fix it, right?
Yeah, Mike, you know, we heard it's bad on that one.
Bob Ram and his family have a lot of work to do. Here is the gorgeous blown money Ford Mustang of Mike Knowles. He'll be alongside Don Walsh in the awesome Harry Haruska-owned twin turbocharged Chevy Camaro, the Pure Power Lifetime Filters machine. They leave the line, big wheel stand in the far lane, but Walsh stays on the throttle and wins with a brutal pass. He was the number 2 qualifier at 5.79 seconds. The car's got power. Watch it yank the front end, and Walsh keeps his right foot planted.
We've really struggled with that since Las Vegas, and we've kind of made our way out of it and back into it. So the whole team's working on trying to get rid of it. Obviously, we're going to have a more consistent race car if we stop doing it.
He's talking about getting rid of those wild half-track wheel stands because when the front end comes down, it had better be going straight or trouble will ensue. Here's Jerry Capano and his Delaware-based supercharged 1963 Corvette Stingray.
The valve in the last round of qualifying, we had to replace the cylinder head and replace a piston and a rod, and my team stepped up. I'm very proud of them. I'm going to do my best.
He has to, because in the other lane is the man who ran the quickest supercharged run in NHRA Pro Modified history during qualifying. This man, Mike Janis, in the Jansen Racing Engine supercharged Camaro. Remember, 5.77 seconds in qualifying. Capano has given it a valiant effort, but it's nowhere near enough. A brilliant reaction time for New Yorker Janis as well. He'll advance to round number 2. And in that second stanza, amazingly, Janis is the only supercharged car remaining amidst 4 turbo cars and 3 nitrous entries. Meanwhile, back in the pits, Bob Ram thrashes to get that 908-inch behemoth ready for round 2. Don't go away. Welcome back to the NHRA J&A Service Pro Modified Drag Racing Series presented by Smithfield Foods. We're ready for round number 2 of eliminations here at Old Bridge Township Raceway Park in the NHRA Toyota Summer Nationals. And the first battle up is side-by-side nitrous oxide injected entries. 2 of the 3 remaining in the field are ready to go at it. It's Ricky Smith, 2-time and defending world champion in the red and white Chevy Camaro, sponsored by IDG, against Michigan's Bob Ram, who has repaired his engine damage from the previous round. And both drivers are on and off the throttle. It's gonna be a close finish, but Bob Ram upsets Ricky Smith in a truly ugly drag race. Here's rookie racer Troy Coughlin Jr. at the wheel of the Jegs.com mail-order sponsored twin turbocharged Corvette against that #1 qualifier.
Well, you know, you definitely got to lay down a good lap, and it's got to be a package, so to speak. So you really need to be on your game as far as, you know, reaction time. You have to really be on your toes and set up a little bit lower of a number than you normally would.
He's gonna need both, as he pointed out, a good reaction time and a great run to take on the world's quickest supercharged Pro Modified. They leave the line, but problems for the yellow turbo car. It's gonna be Janis walking away. Not his quickest run in eliminations, and a puff of smoke at the finish line to boot, but it's good enough to win. Backing up to the starting line in the near lane, it's Kevin Fiskus in his twin turbocharged Ford Mustang, but he'll be alongside the car that has been yanking the front end high at half track. Don Walsh.
Pro Mod 101 is brought to you by Precision Turbo and Engine.
This week on Pro Mod 101, Harry, you've got a problem. Donnie Walsh has been doing wheel stands, but not off the starting line. What's with that?
It's a good problem to have, but also a very challenging problem to deal with.
Let's take a look at the computer printout. What does it show us?
So what we're looking at is a good crisp engine RPM is the red line. Here's the gear change. The green line is the drive shaft RPM, nice and clean. And the blue line is actually the ride height on the car, which has a huge spike on the gear change, which is indicated right here, which that's the problem area we're trying to fix with the 4-lane change. This is over 9 inches at the front wheels of the car, which equates to even more at the nose. So the front of that car is probably 14 inches off the ground, approaching over 150 miles an hour.
Why is it doing that?
A number of reasons. One of them that we believe is we've changed to a new ignition spark plug. And what's happening is we're getting a lot of more aggressive RPM at the top of the gear and a really strong spark at the bottom of the gear, which is equating to torque. Because the spark plug is a very narrow, silver-plated, fires all the time, so when we're pulling down in the peak torque, it's still lighting off, which is actually driving the drive shaft even higher. Right now we're making a 4-leak adjustment to try to get away from that. I mean, it pulls really hard, but you know, it's really nice to have 4 wheels on the ground when you're going 150 plus mile an hour.
It is. So you came up with a spark plug that made more horsepower, but sometimes that causes another problem.
Some amazing information there from Ted Jones and Harry Haruska as the 2 twin turbocharged machines stage up in this Ford versus Chevrolet battle. Will the red Camaro yank that front end high again? Oh, it gets sideways, that's for sure. But Walsh gets right back on the throttle, and it's good enough to hang on for the win.
As you can see, this is a hell of a class. I mean, we were within a tenth and a half. Guys, a lot of guys going 70s and low 80s. This is not an easy path.
There's one more race to end the second round of competition. It's the Mickey Thompson Tires and Wheels Ford Mustang nitrous-injected machine of Billy Glidden taking on Troy Coughlin Sr. and the Jegs.com twin turbocharged yellow Chevy Corvette. This should be a battle that brings back some memories.
Should be a pretty good race, so it's kind of cool, man. My dad and his dad used to beat heads together and stuff like that. It's kind of cool to get to see us do the same thing.
Troy's referring to his father, Jeg Coughlin Sr., who was a pro stock racer, a funny car racer, a top fuel racer, and of course, Billy Glidden's dad, the legendary Bob Glidden, one of the winningest pro stock drivers of all time. And we've got a burn down on the starting line. Neither driver willing to stage. Both are 7 inches away from the starting line and have that pre-stage bulb lit, but they need to creep forward the other 7 inches to put themselves squarely on the starting line to start the race. This is a psychological battle, with the turbocharged cars apparently needing a little bit more time to get ready on the starting line than the nitrous cars. It's not unusual to see the nitrous drivers burn down the turbocharged entries in the other lane. The turbocharged drivers need a little bit more time to get the RPM up and get the turbocharged boost all the way up. The nitrous drivers pretty much have instantaneous power at their fingertips. This is going on forever. Neither one of these drivers is willing to stage first. And the burn down term comes from the fact that while the drivers are sitting there idling, the engines are building up more temperature than they're designed to use in this run, while the tires get colder and offer less traction. Neither driver is moving, sitting on the starting line, and now you can hear the crowd going crazy. We're well over 1 minute. Finally, Billy Glidden stages up. Coughlin follows him into the beams. And Coughlin doesn't even really move on the green light. Billy Glidden moves around a bit, but he still takes the win after a 1 minute and 21 second burn down.
I shook for 200 feet and it was staying relatively straight, so I just stayed after it. You know, we're all out here trying to win this whole mess, so it was pretty awesome. It was a pretty good show.
Absolutely, the fans went wild when that burned down there.
I bet.
Troy Coughlin comes over here and gives congratulations to the guy who took him out. And you guys are 2 and 3 in the points. But man, that burn down, these guys always seem to pick on you, don't they?
Yeah, that's okay. These things run pretty good when they're hot. We just have something broke in the transmission and the burnout, so just have to go back and try and fix the next piece that keeps breaking on this thing until we get it perfect. So that's what we'll do.
And now Troy Coughlin says he was broke all the time? Wow, one of the greatest races of the year, and Glidden has to take on the #1 qualifier in the next round. He's happy now, but will he be able to beat the world's quickest blown car? This exclusive coverage of the NHRA J&A Service Pro Bonafide Drag Racing Series is brought to you by the School of Automotive Machinists. Education at full speed. By Smithfield Foods. Good foods responsibly. By J&A Service, a leader in oil and gas well servicing and exploration. It's time for the semifinal round here at Old Bridge Township Raceway Park in the NHRA Toyota Summer Nationals. 4 cars remain. 1 supercharged car, 2 nitrous oxide injected machines, and 1 turbo car remain. It's Billy Glidden and his 903 cubic inch nitrous injected Ford Mustang against #1 qualifier Mike Janis and his supercharged Chevy Camaro. Glidden has already overcome Steve Matusik and Troy Coughlin, but this could be his toughest battle of the day. The quickest car on the property. Like I said, Glidden and his wife Shannon are the only 2 crew members on their Ford Mustang. Nobody does more with less than Billy Glidden, and Janis has to get on and off the throttle. That's all Billy Glidden's going to need. A great drag race stymied by traction woes for Mike Janis, and believe it or not, the next race will be a single run. Don Walsh is making a solo victory pass here, as apparently his opponent Bob Ram could not get the car to fire up for the tire heating burnout. What a horrible situation for Ram, but what a tremendous turn of it. Wait a minute, Ram has his car running. The car is rolling up through the water burnout area, but it looks like Walsh is already staged and will be sent on a solo run as Ram runs out of time. Incredibly, Walsh's run is not a full throttle effort, but it's enough to advance him to his 2nd final round of the year.
Donnie Walsh, I know you wanted to go up against Bob Ram, and you didn't want to have that single, but you're in the final, man. How can you argue with that?
You know, it's great to be in the final, but it's nicer to be racing people to get there. Bob and the team, they're a great group of guys. Really enjoy racing them. Wish we could have raced them. As you saw, we shook the tires hard. We got lucky, and we we're in the finals. So some of them just come that way, some of them don't work out that way, so you just take them when you can get them.
Here in the final round, an amazing comparison of two completely different ways to go drag racing. The super high-dollar, state-of-the-art machine of Harry Haruska, driven by Don Walsh, twin-turbocharged, brand-new Chevy Camaro, against Billy Glidden's Ford Mustang, a Jerry House Race Cars chassis that, believe it or not, is almost 10 years old, with a 903 cubic inch nitrous-injected Ford engine under the hood. Billy Glidden trying for his greatest victory ever right here. Billy Glidden wins his first NHRA J&A Pro Modified Series National Event title, and he does it on a hole shot. His wife Shannon is going crazy, and so is Billy.
Billy Glidden, man, 20 years after your father won his last national event at this race on a hole shot, my friend, you are the JA Services Pro Mod champ.
That's awesome. It's fantastic. I want to thank, Mickey Thompson, everyone, mom and dad. This is for my mom and dad and my brother. This is,
how about your wife?
And my wife. We're just we're spread pretty thin here, but we're doing it. That was pretty awesome.
It's rare to see Billy Glidden nearly speechless, but it's kind of understandable in this situation. As expected, the two finalists did the most damage in the points, with Glidden jumping up to number 2 behind runner-up Don Walsh. Meanwhile, at the top end, the celebration begins, and I think Mike English may have a little surprise for us here.
Janet, come on over.
I don't do interviews.
You're going to do an interview here. How about that, husband of yours?
How's that?
That was perfect.
That's the best I got.
Well, that's all we need. Fantastic
Thank you.
job.
He did his job this weekend, and I can't ask for anything more.
Congratulations.
Thank you very much.
A great moment for Shannon, for Billy, for his sponsor, Mickey Thompson Tires and Wheels, and for the J&A NHRA Pro Modified Series. Next time we see you, it will be from Thunder Valley. We'll see you then.